2026 is just around the corner, and I was personally going over my finances, and I thought, I bet you there's some people out there that would love to know how to track your finances in Google Sheets. So today I'm going to be making a truly simple net worth tracker, and I use this myself. So if that interests you, follow along in the video. There will be time codes below. Should be pretty straightforward. As I said, it's not complicated, but I do use this personally every month. If you like this video, please like and subscribe below, and let's get into it. Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to do is open up a new Google Sheets and give ourselves a title. So we have Net Worth Tracker 2026. So like I said, I use this personally. So I usually go 2025, 2026, I'll go 2027. So I'll just remake or I'll duplicate the tracker every year and just give it a new name. And then something that's really important is down here, you'll see sheet number 1. I'm going to just go ahead and rename that to raw data. So raw data. So this one, it doesn't have to be pretty. This is not the pretty section of the tracker. This is where all of our fun numbers are going to be placed. So every month I'll come into the raw data and upload my changes, and then everything will be transferred over to the dashboard. And that's where it's pretty and it'll all be in one place so you can check it throughout the month. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put 2026 under the A. And then we're going to go down the row, so B, C, D, all the way to M, and just put our dates. So I'll put January, let's see, October. And all I'm doing here is I'm just clicking the little keys. So you have the 4 keys on the right of your keyboard. I'm just clicking the right one to have me go over to the next column. So then we have November and December. Alrighty. So again, I could make this fancy, but I'm not going to just yet. So I'm going to have my assets here. Assets, I can make this bold so everybody can see it. So here I'll put bold. And then your assets are going to be things that you own that are not liabilities. So things I own is savings. You might have a savings account. Then you might have your Roth IRA, which is your investment account. Then you'll have your 401k, which is your employer retirement account. So we have savings, Roth IRA, 401k. That's just some examples here. And then as I go down to 8, I'll put total assets. Okay, so I'll come back up here and I'll just make this capitalized. Assets. So here's a fun trick that I just found out recently that if you have, say, a column of words here that is about to go into the other box, instead of clicking up here and dragging, okay, I can simply come to the edge here and double click. Oh, and it'll automatically fit the text to the column. So that's really fun. So then we'll go down 1 and we'll go to debts. We'll type in our debts here. Great. And then we'll go down to 15, and then we'll put our total debts. And when I'm talking about numbers here going down to 15, some of us may not know, on the left side of Google Sheets, we'll have numbers. This is the same as Excel. So we have our A, B, C, D up at the top, and then our 1, 2, 3s all the way down on the left side. Okay, so here we have total debts, and then we're going to go down 1 to 17, and we're going to put our net worth. So then we can go over and bold these. So you just have to click on the column and you can just go ahead and push B up here, which turns it into bold. And like I said, I'm not super, in depth on Google Sheets or Excel, so I know all the names and all this. I'm just a regular person who likes to track his finances, and I hope that resonates with you. So here we have our assets, our total assets, our debts, and then total debts net worth. So your debts, that can be things like our student loans. Okay, that's a big one for me. And then we have our credit cards. All right. So credit cards, those are things that you're paying every month. That could be a car loan, that could be your mortgage payment. So those are debts. You're making a payment on those, so they don't count as assets yet because you don't own them. So something fun that we can do here, just to differentiate, we can put some color on the assets. So I like to just do a gray here on the bolded out letters. Now again, this is not the fancy side, so we don't have to go too crazy with it. We'll just put some gray here. Something here that I want to point out that you want to make sure that you do is come up here right under January. I guess we go number 2 here, where your savings account, that's where you put the numbers in. So I'm going to highlight all the way down to my net worth and all the way across to December. And you see how it makes a big blue highlight here. I'm going to come up to Format, go to Number, and I'm going to scroll down all the way to Currency. So now when I put my numbers in, it's automatically going to convert that into dollars. Now, if you live somewhere where USD is not your primary currency, you can change that as well. You'll go over to Numbers and you'll do Custom Currency. And that's where you can go through, you can do, I guess, Albanian lek, sorry if I mispronounce those, but you can put that on however your currency runs. So here, now that we have set to USD, if I come over here and I type 1,000, boom, it'll automatically update it to $1,000 for me. So that's really fun. So I'm just going to type in some numbers here. So again, these aren't accurate, but I'm going to go ahead and put 10,000 here or 100, not 100,000, but let's put 10,000. Can't do too crazy. Okay. So here we go. We have 1,000 in our savings, 4,000 in our Roth IRA, and 10,000 in our 401k. Okay. I feel like those are pretty realistic numbers there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all of these together in our total assets. So this is going to be a function. To do this, we're going to click equals and then sum. So that's going to mean that we're adding numbers together. So if I say sum, it's going to say value 1 and value 2. So what I can do here is I'll click my B3 up here and I can just drag down and then hit enter. So now by hitting sum or equal sum and then clicking on savings and dragging down, that's automatically going to calculate my total assets. So it just adds them all together. So you might be asking, okay, do I have to go through and put that function every single time from B to M? No. What you can do is click this fun little blue dot here and drag it all the way to M. Now, I might be tricky to see, but you can see a black highlight. And so by doing that, now it's going to autofill that equation all the way down the row. So if we click in here, like if I double click, you see how it gives the outline of the orange box because it's taken the data from those specific roles. So pretty neat. Now we're going to go down to our debts. Okay, this is one that we might not like to talk about. But here I'm going to put 5,000 and then I'm going to put $1,000 into our credit card. So you might have $5,000 of student loans. Obviously, like me, it's going to be more, but just as an example here. And then our credit cards is $1,000. And then we're going to just do the same function. Okay, so we're going to click on sum here. And then we're going to then click our 5,000, our 1,000. So a B11, B12, click enter, and now we have our total. So the same process as we did above, we're just going to click this blue guy here, drag it all the way down, and there you go. Next is we're going to calculate our net worth. So as you may not know, net worth is your total assets minus your total debts or total liabilities. So to do that, we'll do our equal sign here. We'll come up and click our 15,000, so our total assets. We'll hit minus, and then come down and click our total debts. So that makes our net worth $9,000. So our total assets minus our total debts or liabilities will give us our total net worth. So then we'll click our blue guy here and bring it all the way down. So boom, you've created your first net worth tracker. So that, I know it's not spectacular there, but that's just to get the point across. Is you're putting your numbers in here every month. That might go up, that might go down. This is where you're updating it. Again, this is just a simple way to track your finances. It's not going to be doing automatic stuff or, besides the small functions we have, it's not going to be something that you could buy online. So this is something that's for free that, I like to work in Google Sheets or Excel. So this is something that I don't mind going in and tinkering with a little bit to make work. So next thing we're going to do, if I come down to 19 here, I'm just going to type in months and then net worth months. So this is going to be important because I like to have like a graph in my dashboard. So net worth months, little tongue twister there. And as I go down, I'm just going to do the same thing. So I'm going to put January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and then December. Great. And then over here, what I'm going to do that's um, going to be able to transfer this information to the graph on the dashboard is I'm going to then go to equals. Then I'm going to click on the net worth that's associated with the month. So here we have B17, that's $9,000. That's equal to January. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then guess what? I'm not going to trust this autofill just yet because I don't believe it has enough information of what I'm trying to do. So then I'm going to put equals and go down to C17. And you guys get the gist. So we're going to go down all the way and then we're going to finalize with December. All right, so now that we have the basis of the raw data set up, I'm going to show you how I like to input my data as the months go on. So, as I said, it's not going to be doing anything too crazy like adding and subtracting. And if you add this much this month or you took away, it's not going to be doing too much of that. So, you kind of have to be able to do your own math whenever it comes to how much you put into savings. If your savings went from 1,000 to 1,900, you have to manually input that. So, let's just say we looked at our savings account and now we're at 1,900. So boom, that's great there. Our Roth IRA went up to 5,000 and our it went up to 11,000 here. And then we paid off some debt, so now we're at 495 here. Those interest rates, and then say we're at 500 now. So that's the way it's going to calculate our net worth is we're going to go through and we're going to manually put our growth in there, if that makes sense. And then you could fill in all of these if you want. I'm just going to come over here in July just so we can have some reference here. We can put 2,000, I'll put 6,000, and then I'll put 15,000. So we've had a big year. And then for our debts, I'll say we're down. We're interest loans have come back for us, and then we went up a little bit on our credit card debt. So, um, just to give us some reference of how I would go throughout the year. Now, obviously, that's where you come in. You kind of have to put this data in yourself. Now's the fun part. Now we get to make the dashboard, and this is the one where you can kind of have a little fun with it. Um, so I'm going to come over here and click the plus, and I'm going to create another sheet. So then I'm going to rename this to dashboard. So I'm going to then highlight from A to D here, and I'm going to merge these together. Boom, merge those together. And I'm just going to title this worth, net worth tracker 2026. Alrighty. And then I'm going to come over here to this arrow. See this arrow? And I'm going to click that to be in the middle. So that puts it in the middle of the, I guess, cell, puts that in the middle of the cell. And then I'm going to click that to be in the middle of the entire cell. So by going to the horizontal line, I will click middle, and then I can bump up, say the size of it. I can make it bold here, but I'm going to turn this color to white. And I really like this blue here. So I'm going to turn this into a blue. Next, I'm going to create the assets and debt cells. So here I'm going to highlight 3, 4 through A and B. And I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to merge those together. Do the same thing with C and D. Merge those together. Then I'm going to write down my assets. Write down my debts. You see how it falls to the bottom here? That's when I just come back to this little arrow and I'll put that in the middle, go to the horizontal line and throw that bad boy in the middle. Great. So I can make these a little bigger here. Bold that out, make that to 14. Come up here with this one on 14, bold that out. And here's where the fun part is. So I'm going to put whatever I put in my raw data as my savings, Roth IRA, my 401k, that's where I'm going to throw those in here. So I'm going to put my savings. Now you could, just throwing this out there, you could have this so you don't have to type it over. You could always just go equal, go back to the raw data here. There you go. So if I push equals, I click over on the raw data, I can pull this information into the dashboard. Now you don't have to do that. You can just manually type it, whatever you feel more comfortable with. So then I'm going to put my 401k here. Just wanted to give you guys the option. So I can do that over here for the debts. I'll put my equal sign. I'll go over to my raw data and I'll put my student loans. And then I can also put my equal sign, raw data, and go over here to my credit cards. So either way, you can manually type them. You can pull the data from the other sheet. I'm going to put on 9. I'm going to put my total assets. total debts. And then right under that, I'll put my net worth. Great. So I can make these guys blue here, the same blue as the one above. Oh, that's a little darker. There we go. That perfect blue. Alrighty. And what we're going to do now is we're going to then start pulling information from our raw data into our dashboard. So again, I'm just going to click my equals, come over to my raw data, say if I'm on the month of February, or I'm on the month of July. I'm just going to click that cell, hit enter, boom. Then I'm going to come over here. I don't trust the suggested field just yet, just because I don't think it knows what we're doing. Roth IRA, come over to our raw data, click it. Then I'm going to click my equals, go over to my 401k. There we go. Same thing with our student loans. So this literally takes, 5 seconds. The minute that you get good with Google Sheets or Excels, you can do this relatively fast. You're just clicking. So then we're going to go over to our total assets here. You can do the equals yourself, or you can just pull data. I tend to just like to pull data. Makes me feel like I'm doing more techie things. Um, so then here we go. We have our total debts. And then we're going to come down here, click our net worth. Boom. All right. So now here is we're almost done there. Here's the fancier network tracker where you have the specific month that you're at. This is telling you where you are to date, your assets, your debts. But we're going to take this just a little step further. All right. So this looks nice. It looks pretty. Again, not super fancy, but it's all of your information, all of your finances right there. What we're going to do is we're going to insert a chart. So I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to click a chart. Mine brought up a pie chart. I'm going to go over here to columns. And now you see it's automatically going to put assets, savings, Roth IRA, 401k. That's pulling from the A column. But this is where we did something really important here is where we see the x-axis where it says net worth tracker. I'm going to come up and I'm going to click this little square because it says select data range. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to replace this A through 1, A1 through 11, and I'm going to click my raw data table. And you remember when we put our months all the way in order in one column? That's what we're going to take this from. So I'm going to take January all the way to December. So that's A20 to A31. And I'm going to click and boom. Now we have our dates at the bottom here. So we have let's see, if I come over here and click, boom, use hair. Now we have our January through December. And something else we're going to do is we're going to get a series. So right now this is pulling from B. That's why we see the 2000, 6000. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place this right here. I'm going to click this series just like we did. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to add a series, range of data, pulling my data. Okay. And now here we go. We have a live visual of what our net worth has been doing over the past couple months. So I'm going to make this bigger here. Now, obviously, you can update these. Let's see if I can turn this to the same blue that we have on our chart if we wanted to. So we can play around with this. I like to delete this and I'll just put months down here. We can come over here and put net worth. Now you can customize this however you want. I choose to just keep it simple as possible. Again, this is just a beginner-friendly net worth tracker. It's what I've been using for years. I'm able to see my trajectory. Did my net worth go up or down? It takes me, once you have this all set up, it takes me probably, 20 minutes after at the beginning of each month, I go in, I check my savings, I check my Roth IRA, I check my 401k, I put my debts together. You have a pretty good idea of where your debts are going and assets, throughout the year. So it doesn't take too long to be able to figure this out. But I mean, what is that? 40 minutes that we spent together to make this. That's been great. That's been awesome. So again, two columns, two sheets here. I have my raw data and I have my dashboard here. My dashboard is what I usually look at throughout the month to kind of see where I'm at, and it's a good visual to see how my net worth is doing, how my net worth is decreasing. It's also really great if you have a spouse. My wife and I like to sit down and look at our finances. So whenever I have this all together, we can sit down. She can clearly see what our assets, what our debts are doing, and kind of how our net worth is going up and down. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, or you're having some trouble, I'll give as much information as I can to help you out in the comments. But yeah, this is the first video on this channel, but I just thought, you know what, I think I need to help some people out. I feel like this is needed right now. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. And yeah, this is Finance for You.